Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Mangusto Garage, focusing on Ford Taunus. Anyone would think I didn't like Capris. So this is a silver 1600S Taunus. It's very, very solid car. If I may just entertain you for a minute. The rear wheel arches on this are absolutely, I mean, this is a weak point on any Cortina or Taunus, and this is just, yeah. Paintwork's pretty good. It's not perfect by any standard, but it's certainly very presentable, and yeah, I've paid sort of a lot of money for a lot worse, so I'm very happy with that. All the doors, everything's really sharp on it. The door gaps are really good. Like the rubbers are all good, like the door panels. There's a bit of wear on the back seat due to the I don't know if you can see it, due to the weather, but yeah, I mean, give me wear on back seats and cracked ashes over loads and loads of rust. Look at the sills, my god. Mark IV Cortina with its original wheel arches. Mud flaps are well, questionable. But yeah, so anyway, the problem with this, I didn't actually record it, but we've just taken the head off it because it was smoking on tick over. Now, it's a Pinto. I'm not going to bore you with, you know, taking Pintos apart. They're so easy, just like Lego, which is why I love them. So we've taken the head off this one. We've just cleaned it up. There's no real wear. I don't know if you can see it. There's no real wear in the board. Little bit of a ridge, but I think the kilometers is on this is like 120 or something like that. So it's like less than 80,000 miles. Yeah, it's really good. Being an S, it's got a twin choke Weber and the 4-branch. It should have. I think they put 2-litre cams in them as well, if my memory serves correct. As I say, with an S, all the chrome is all blacked out. So like the window infill is all blacked out, and all this sort of stuff, which would be chrome on the other models. So as I said, we've just taken the head off, and yeah, there's no wear in the bores itself, but yeah, it's you can see that like number 2 is very wet. And it was on tick over. It was just puffing a little blue, which usually would suggest valve guides. So in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one we prepared earlier. So it's had a new cam. It's from a very low mileage engine. There's no wear in the valve guides at all. I lapped all the valves in. They've gone in perfect. And obviously new valve stem seals. So this is pretty much ready to go back on. So yeah, just need to nail it back on really. So we'll get it located, and there's a few things with the car being Portuguese that we need to address, like the fact it hasn't had an oil change in forever, and I don't know if you can hear that, but all they don't use antifreeze over here and then wonder why the cooling systems block up. So yeah, we've got to do that. I think it's got the original Ford HT leads on as well, which, I mean, if they were new, like some of the anoraks in the UK would like, yeah. But yeah, so there's that. I'm gonna be driving this back to the UK, which will be part of one of the episodes on the channel. I mean, look at the inner wings, look at them, amazing. All the areas at the back to the top, oh, just no rust. Awesome. Yeah, so we're gonna give it some love mechanically. All the suspension bushes, I'd say the mileage is pretty low, so it hasn't, you know, there's nothing scary. All the brakes are good. It was just that running problem with the engine, with it smoking a little bit, and the cam was a bit rattly. This is Andrea, my better half. She's cleaning up the rocker cover gasket, and she's just helping me take the head off. So we got the new head over there. I've just swapped over the cam pulley, as you can see. So one of the things with Pintos is obviously they're all quite old now, and the tensioners can wear. The bearings, you'll hear them. They're pretty. If I just put this carefully on there, and then just you can hear that, that's very quiet. So we're happy with this tensioner to go back onto the head. Okay, so what we're doing now, my lovely apprentice is using the telephone to record us. What we're doing now, if you can come just have a look, is we're putting air down the bolt holes. Put a rag over it so you don't get it face full. And just make sure you can see that there's some smeg, oil, water. That one's got water. It's just when you take the head off, sometimes it can leave stuff behind. So we've already cleaned the surface of the block up, and the head has already been cleaned and checked if it was level as well, which is a good thing. I mean, the Pintos are pretty bulletproof. They're cast heads, cast blocks, so you've got to, you know, unless they've overheated or whatever, the heads don't usually warp. That said, it's always best to check it so you get something like a straight edge, like an engineer's ruler, and just check that it's true. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to get a bit of blue roll. A little bit of brake cleaner and just clean off the top of the block. I've got smeg all over it. Make sure there's no big bits of sandwiches or crisps, any types of fish or anything inside the bores of the thing. Obviously we don't want it fouling the valves. So that's all pretty clean, happy and ready to install the head gaskets. Now with Pintos they don't have any locating dowels, so what I've done, because I do so many Pintos, I've got some old head bolts like this, cut them down and I just put a flat on them just so that it helps the head locate. Otherwise the gasket is quite tricky to, certainly if you're doing it on your own, it's quite tricky to locate. So I just tend to screw those in. They're just locating, basically locating studs if you like. They'll come out when the head's on to put the head bolts in. So I'll come back to you in a second with locating the head gasket. So head gaskets, you can buy cheap head gaskets. I don't recommend it. I've used Payan gaskets for over 30 years and they're really good. Certainly with Pintos, because they've got this seal. Now if you have a look at your Pinto and it's leaking oil, you'll usually find, if you just come this way, you've got these 3 points here, which is where the oil feeds up to the head. Now with this red stuff, magic, it stops it helps seal, so the oil won't pass that. The oil does tend to leak over time past the head gasket through that if it doesn't have this. So I do recommend like Payan gaskets, but I mean Rhines or anything decent. The rest of the gaskets aren't really that important, but I mean the head gasket and obviously like the quality of the cam and crank seals is important. But yeah, the Payan head gasket for me works every time, and they're not that expensive Payan stuff. Yeah, and the quality's there. As I said, make sure when you fit in this is nice, because I've got me locating dowels there. That on some of the other gaskets you can see there is quite a bit of movement still there, so you just want to try and get it even as possible, and hopefully it'll stay there when we put the head on. Okay, so installation of the head, and try not to drill into your own hand before when you're working on things. That doesn't help. So again, it's a bit heavy, a bit cumbersome. It's a little bit difficult on your own, but with those dowels it helps you locate everything without breaking every muscle in your body. Also the problem I think we're going to have is that the exhaust manifold always wants to sit underneath the studs, so you have to pull pull that back. There we go. And then that can sit nicely down. Okay. There we go. So that's the putty on bit done, and now it's the putty in the bolts. Don't need to put any thread in them, but if they are a bit corroded, like so, you do really need to run them over the wire wheel. And that's it for a minute. Okay, so the more astute of you will notice that the head's back on, along with the rocker cover. I just bolted the exhaust manifold up. So yeah, I just got to put the inlet manifold on it. I've used the old spark plugs for a minute. I'm going to change, if this works, because I take nothing for granted. I'm ever the pessimist, but I'm very rarely let down, so it's always a positive side. So I'm going to bolt the inlet manifold on with a carb, just get it started, make sure it's rectified the problem of it smoking on tick over. I'm 99.9% positive that that's the problem, and that it's not a problem with the bores or the rings or the pistons as I've looked. But you know, we shall have to see. So yeah, I'll get the inlet manifold bolted on, make sure it all runs, and then I'll service it. So I'll change the oil, new plugs, points, leads, and all that sort of stuff. And so yeah, so I'll get it running and I'll come back to you. So after a change of battery and some little tinkering, set of points in it, we got it going, and yes, it's nice and quiet. Obviously that new camshaft's helped, but more to the point, it's now not puffing, and it would, before it'd start and it'd just sit there and puff out a little bit of blue smoke, but as you can see, it's still running on choke at the moment. But yes, it's all appears to be fixed and ready for its next adventure. So I did speak a little bit too soon, and it's not obviously ready for its adventure yet, because I've got to MOT it, or get Portugal, they call it an inspection. And we've just noticed while it was running, revved it up a couple of times, and the accelerator pump diaphragm was leaking, spotted by my good lady, which is that thing, which is located on the side of the carburetor there, just where that spring is. What happens over time is it's operated by this. So when you put your foot on the throttle, the quadrant moves that down and pumps extra fuel into the carburetor via this thing. But what happens over time is the rubber diaphragm there will crack, and obviously fuel's very thin, so it lets fuel past this section, and you just see it dripping down here. It's right from the carb, you'll see it dripping. It's a common problem with Webers after they've sat around for a bit, or you know, as they get old. But yeah, they've started making new ones. For a long time you couldn't get just this, you had to buy the whole kit just for this, which is a bit daft. About 20 years ago you could buy them, 20, 25, 30 years ago maybe you could buy them, but yeah, they stopped making them. But they've started, you can buy them on that auction website, and I think Burton Power sell them as well now. So it's all, yeah, always worth changing anyway if you're unsure, because yeah, you don't, certainly on the 38D gas as well, because you don't want fuel leaking and collecting in the inlet manifold of the V, because that's just, yeah, bad news. So I'm going to put that back on, I'm going to run it up, flush out all the water system, and give it an oil change. It's had plugs, points and a condenser. I'm going to put a cap, leads and rotor on it. Yeah, I'm going to leave it draining the oil overnight, say flush the water system out, and then get it all sort of mechanically finished engine wise. And then we're going to go through the brakes, and just check all the suspension, steering, and then put it in for its MOT inspection.